Yahoo! Hey everybody, this is Brett. And well, here I am ready to do kind of a crazy Sunday Night Live because, it's been crazy. And thanks for joining me, those of you that are brave enough to watch, I guess. I have a whole bunch of things written down, and I don't really know that I feel all that much like doing this tonight, but I am, I guess, anyway. Trump and Bernie. Look at the bigger picture and read the post. I wrote that down like a week ago, and now it's not even Bernie anymore. It's Trump and Joe Biden, and it's kind of a weird thing. That the person that's probably going to go against Trump is not very up in his mind. Some say senile. And so if you look at the polls, though, you'll see that Joe is up in most of the polls. And so if that goes ahead, continues, and Joe gets to be president, we'll have now a president that doesn't think very well, a lot of the time anyway. I mean, some people don't like him, but I think he seems to be a decent person. I always liked Joe. He always rode the train every day to work, and I thought that was admirable. He never seemed like he was really that much of a leader, though, if you know what I mean. So I don't have a whole lot to say about that. So yesterday I did a hot and cold therapy bath, and that was just like a regular bath, except I got it really, really hot, and then when I could no longer stand to stay in the hot bath anymore, I got out and sat on the side of the tub and cooled down. Now, I was thinking to myself, another thing I could do is just go outside. And this is just like if you're going to a hot spring, you can do the exact same thing. Many of you have done that before at hot springs. And I'm from the West, and so I'm quite familiar with that. But I never really thought of doing it with a regular bath. And so I think that I know, I can tell you it was really great because I got back in it again, and I think I benefited the second time around and the third time around just about as good as the first time. So, yeah, more thumbs ups. Nice. And one essential oil that's really good for any kind of a respiratory illness is eucalyptus. And I used to live in a place where there was a lot of eucalyptus trees in San Diego. And so it's very opening of the respiratory, your nasal passages and lungs. It very, very much opens them up, and it smells really great. You can also get a similar effect with rosemary, and really love the smell of that. And sometimes I'll put it in my diffuser, But now, last night, I wanted to ask the tarot cards if the current virus problem was going to last very long, and kind of get an idea of what that was going to give me. Hang on one second, and I'll grab that card and show it to you, and then I'll read the explanation from the book. So I picked the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups is one that I picked recently before, and it looks like this. See the shadow man in the front of all the cups that are up in the air? Okay, so this book is the one that I refer to. It's a really good book. And I'm not going to read the entire thing to you, but I will read the upright meaning of the Seven of Cups. Choices and confusion. While the seven brings the potential for amazing opportunities, these options and offers are insubstantial. At present, it's not clear what's feasible and what is fantasy, as everything feels up in the air, just like the floating cups on the card itself. By discerning and finding out what you can about each possible path, but ultimately, be discerning and find out what you can about each possible path, but ultimately you'll need to choose by paying attention to your instincts and emotions. This is not a test of logic. Go with the flow and trust your inner knowing. Don't rush. In relationships, the card can show new doorways opening again in joint finances improved. The seven is also a card of the visionary and shows the beginning stages of a new project. When anything is possible, dreams and visions are additional interpretations. Okay, so it kind of seems to me like if you read the whole thing, you understand it better, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. It just, the main thing that it said there with the upright meaning is that everything is up in the air. Okay? So that is so true with this coronavirus, that everything is up in the air because we've never had this kind of extreme of like a shutdown, like a full-on shutdown of everything. And I've been thinking about all the potential benefits of the coronavirus, and who knows exactly how much change will take place as a result of it, but I'm really hoping that a lot of beneficial changes come about as a result of turning everything over, if you know what I mean, changing the way we do business, at least temporarily, could really shed some radically cool light on some long-term changes that we can make in a lot of ways. And so today I wrote an article and then I sent it out as an email to people regarding the benefits that we might get. And Tom says hi from Australia. I'm sorry, Scott. Scott says hi from Australia. And Terry says hello, nice to see you, love your vids. Thanks. Thanks, Terry. Good to see y'all. And so I don't know that many of you have read that already, hopefully. And I'll tell you a few more things, like I'm making a video, and that video has a whole bunch of pictures on it that kind of give a vision of some of the changes that might happen. Like, for instance, what if people weren't going to bars, and then they wouldn't be drinking as much, right? And what else? This thing's not responding. Oh, there we go. If people stayed home a lot more, then they'd be able to take care of things that I tell you really matter, like their own health and their pets. Like you could give your dog a massage, or you could hang out with your kids and read a book with them or something like that. And if people stayed home, they wouldn't be burning gas. Think of how many millions and millions and millions of gallons of gas have already not been burned. because of the coronavirus. So there are just a whole lot of potential benefits from the chaos, the beautiful chaos caused by something like this. And there we go. And hi Joe, how are you? So I think that we'll all get the coronavirus eventually. And I think that right now that we're just taking extra precautions so that because we don't know what's going to happen. We're all really worried, like, how sick are we going to get? Are we going to die? Or, and so also, yeah, I think that we'll all eventually get it, and that we're just putting off the inevitable for the most part. And I watched a video a little while ago of an older guy, 70s, that had got it, and he said that the worst of his symptoms were that he got a temperature of 103 for about 8 hours, and that was it. And that was, he said, he really didn't come off as though it was that big of a deal. And for me, I've been sick a lot. With detoxing, I'm kind of used to it. And I'm not really that fearful of the coronavirus itself. I'm mostly afraid because I don't have a lot of money saved, and people aren't going to be buying my products because they're all scared. Or people rely on a regular income and they don't have money saved, and so they're apprehensive about buying anything right now, and that's understandable. And so, another thing that's really, really important here is faith and connection with the divine. Okay, some of you call it prayer. You can call it whatever you want to. SOS, Morse code. But when you connect with creation, it so oftentimes happens for me that I receive the answers soon thereafter. And that's another one of the things I wrote down here. And so you can't just sit there and worry. I mean, that doesn't do any good. It might get your adrenaline up a little bit. But this thing, remember that the news, the people that, imagine working at a news outlet, you'd have to be a complete adrenaline junkie, right? and they're definitely, when something like this happens, it's going to just get overblown. And how many of you can relate to getting too hyped up, too worried about something that never turned out to be worth worrying about? We all can relate to that, right? So I'm telling you that for most people with even half decent health, there's really probably nothing to worry about. And that what we're doing right now, what Trump's declaration of a national emergency, yada yada, and all of this stuff on the internet and television, etc., is mostly geared towards preventing a mass influx of people in hospitals. Okay, of which most of those people probably wouldn't even need to go to the hospital. The thing is that people are so not up on healing. They're not up on cleansing, and they don't understand that their immune system is a natural part of what makes them who they are, and how they want to suppress their immune systems by doing over-the-counter meds when they get sick. Nitol, they don't want it to naturally run its course. And so we have all these people that have purchased health insurance, and if they start getting a little bit too sick, they're going to get in their car and run to the hospital, and the emergency rooms will all be just buried, right? And so the government is like, oh my God, you can just hear them sitting in their round table in the White House or wherever talking about, oh my God, we're going to be killed by millions of people coming to the hospital because they're somewhat sick, and they've paid for their health insurance and they want to use it, right? So the reality of it is that most of you, if you get sick, you just need to stay home, drink some tea, talk to your friends on Facebook. It's a respiratory thing, the coronavirus. If you can get some mullein herb, that will help to decongest your respiratory system. It helps you to cough up the phlegm and stuff. And bear in mind that anytime you have a kind of a respiratory illness and you're coughing up stuff and your body is opening up in those places, then you're going to get out a lot of gunk possibly, and your immune system is going to fight off other things that are in there. You could come out of it smelling like a rose. That's how it works. Like when you cleanse, when you fast, you generally, after it's over, you feel really, really good. Okay, so education is hugely important, and that's why I'm doing this video tonight. So that, because I'm somebody that's like a health mentor for y'all, and that's basically just because I've been through a lot. It's not because I'm an expert. I'm not one of those kinds of people that studies things under microscopes and da 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 da. I'm somebody that's experienced a lot of things in regards to health. And I look at things from a natural perspective, not from one of the medical industry, which is so influenced by the drug companies and all of their things that their interests are money. Their interests are money. The people at the top are pushing the people below them, who are pushing the people below them to sell their drugs. And they invest crap loads of money, a lot of which people donate to them for cancer research. Please don't do that. Donate to animal charities and children's charities and things that have real value. Don't donate to the idiocy of the medical industry. The medical industry is geared towards saving people that aren't willing to save themselves by working at their own health. Health takes work. And when you get to a point of where you're feeling pretty healthy, then you're not worried about catching a virus in which only a small number of people, a small percentage of people die. So far in the United States, 60 some odd people have died of the coronavirus. 25 of those people were in an old folks home. An old folks home is a place where the old folks can no longer take care of themselves. There's a perspective for you. Today, 6,000 people died. Another 6,000 people died in the United States of heart disease and diabetes. Okay? This is the reality of it. The only thing with this coronavirus that's such a big deal is that it's very contagious and it can spread really to a lot of people really fast if they're not thinking and if they're just sticking their fingers in their mouths and noses and all of this, or hugging each other and kissing each other like in France and Spain. And so, that's what's going to happen. Not really funny, but people just need to think and know that eventually we'll probably all get this, just like the flu. That's what they're saying, that the people that are experts, and it makes sense. Think about what makes sense. Think about what makes logical sense. Okay, so all it is that we're in a place right now of where we're just getting hit with something new that they don't know a lot about, but for the most part, we kind of have a general idea that it's just going to be something that we're all going to get. And 99+% of us are going to be fine with it, at least 98%. And only the really weak people will die. That's how it works anyway. And bear in mind that a whole lot of good things like analyzation is going to come out of this, because we're going to see, oh, well, who died and why? And did anybody in the country that breathes really, really clean air die? Nope, not even really old and sick people, because they had good lungs. Hey, John, welcome, man. John sends me some really good messages, some really good messages on do-it-yourself hand sanitizer. Thanks, Taylor. Yeah, that's what we need. Hi, Francis from Chicago. Welcome. 21 people watching me. Yeah. So, like I said, the one in the bank, and you really need a great pillow. Now, I'm telling you, you should try one of my pillows. You should read all the reviews on my website. They're incredible little tools for sleeping better and supporting your head, neck, and shoulders. So see them at Brett'sNaturalHealth.com. Hey, do you guys like my haircut? I cut it again. You can't even tell that I get a haircut now because I cut it every 7 to 10 days. And, it's only going to lose however much it grows in that period of time. So, yeah, I always have hair that looks pretty decent. Right now, I didn't bath today. Yesterday, I took 2 baths because I went through one of my stomach cleansing nights the other night. I hate it when it does that. But yeah, I needed a couple of, like I was telling you, really hot baths yesterday. And it's really great for those of you that joined me late. It's really great to do the same thing with a bath as you do at the hot springs. You get in it, then you get out. You might even go outside where it's cold and let your blood cool down and really cool down, and then run back to the tub. Make sure it's really hot. Add salt and essential oils if you want to, and get in that hot tub and stay there again until your blood is too hot and your heart is going, oh man, get out, get out. So you get out and cool down again and do it over again. Hey, Catherine. I am not bad, Catherine. Considering all the hoopla and troubles that are going on, I am not too bad. I went to the store today. I had to load up on peanut butter, because peanut butter is one of the things that I'm eating a lot of. I'm hardly eating any meat, just a fish here and eggs, fish and eggs. And I'm telling you, it's doing great things for my health. I see all the built up gunk from eating all that chicken, and I'm not gonna harp on this too much but I will tell you that if you're not eating at least organic, like Coleman organic chicken from the store, you really should switch to that, because it's so much better than caged junk. But if you can get to where you're eating only wild animals like I am now, which is mostly just Atlantic wild Alaskan salmon and eggs, my own eggs, and they're incredible eggs. And if you guys order something, I will send you some eggs. Right now, I have 3 dozen eggs. I will send you the best eggs you have ever eaten in your entire life. I'm not joking. They're the whites are fluffy, the yolks are bright orange, and the shells are harder, and the membranes inside the shell are thicker, and it's almost hard to break them open. And these chickens, they're not even eating springtime a lot of greens yet. They are starting to get bugs and some greens, but it's not near like it will be in 2 to 4 weeks. It's going to be awesome. And let's see. What do you eat with your peanut butter? Fruit, apples, oranges, currants, berries. That's what I mostly eat with my peanut butter. But peanuts, being a legume, they do go good on non-glutinous pancakes, and you can put some sorghum syrup on them. Yum. I stocked up a little bit more on that and bought another one today. I have to keep it on the top shelf. Well, not this time of year, but in about 2 weeks, all of these sweetie things. I got this at the regular grocery store. And it's not organic because you can't get sorghum organic, but it is from this area. This is local. And the other sorghum that you can get is from Tennessee, and it's called Muddy Pond. And you can actually buy that on Amazon. But either way, you'll have to pay the shipping. It'll be built into the price on Amazon, or you'll have to add it as $20 UPS on their website. So, let's see. What else? Yeah, fresh organic eggs laid by my girl. Sometimes though, it's amazing. Sometimes one chicken, I'm pretty sure, is laying even up to 4 eggs in a session. And it's really cute, you guys. Like the chickens, you'll hear them in there, not cockadoodling, but what do they call that? They go like that, And after they get done laying, they'll come out of their little houses and they will do that it's kind of like they're saying, "Hi, I laid a whole bunch of eggs. I laid a bunch of eggs." It's really sweet. And I totally love my birds. I totally love my birds. And it's going to be really cool when they have their own chicks. Their own chicks. Because I have 3 roosters. And it's just going to be neat to see them. I think they call it brooding. When they're I'm not positive on that. But they'll get to a point of where they just want to stay, for the most part, on their eggs. And sometimes you'll go out and get the eggs and they'll still be very warm because they just got laid, I can't say that too much, or maybe my video will get put down. My video will get put down if I talk about getting laid too much. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Yeah, that's it. Well, that's what they say. Cluck, clucking, cluck, 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 cluck. Celery stalk with peanut butter spread. You know what, Joe? That's a good idea. Celery. Yeah, you can put that. See, peanut butter is kind of like a nut, but it's actually classified as a bean, a legume, because it's not growing on a tree. And see, that's a really, really good thing, because when people need to detox, people need to eat a lot of peanut butter. Now, they may not eat a lot of peanut butter. They may not be able to in the beginning because they may have so much bacteria that they're really sensitive to any kind of a fungal type of a food, which is what the peanut butter is has an aflatoxin in it. And don't ask me exactly what that is because it's been so long since I read about that, and I was worried about that. But bear in mind, just always ask yourself, is this a natural food? Because you'll see stories about various foods on whatever, and they may downplay that there's some sort of an aspect about this particular food that's bad and you shouldn't consume it. Well, there's always beneficial things, just like the coronavirus. There's always beneficial things. And a lot of people, it's going to be tough for them to switch gears here for a second. It's going to be tough for them, like myself. I don't have very much money in the bank, and I'm really going to rely on some of you that do to maybe buy some of my products and help me out. Because, I've really reduced my expenses a lot, but in a lot of ways, and it's awesome. I'm even going to be able to get some wood, I think, here in exchange for eggs. Because right now, I've got some guys, the owner of the property is having all those logs outside that were cut down, because he's building a house up here. He's having them all cut into lumber. And these guys that are doing that work, there's a big sawmill outside my cabin here. And those guys that are doing that work love my eggs. They love eggs, and they can see all the chickens running around, and they're going thinking to themselves, man, I really want some of those eggs. They're telling me we really like eggs. So I got it. Next time I see them, I'm going to be like, hey, can I get some wood? Because check it out. I have a new foot friend that's going to be coming out soon. I haven't made the exact one yet, But it's going to be like the old one, but kind of like the stone foot friend. It's going to be like the stone foot friend in that you can put different blades into the slot. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I'm going to make these different blades. And one of them will be just a flat blade. One of them will have a little whoop that goes over for getting the middle of your foot, in the middle of the metatarsal area where you really want that, in the middle of the arch. And then also there's going to be a heel tool, And the heel tool will be like a V, kind of like that. And you stick your heel right in the middle of it and work it. And it's going to be really cool. So, yeah, I'm going to trade for some wood that's already dried. Now, they're already cutting me some wood out there, but it's still wet. And that takes time to dry. And depending on how thick the wood is, obviously, if you think about it. Okay, so, yeah, I'm excited to get going on that. And I've got a few other things. But basically, like I said, the deal is that I help you guys out, and those of you that can help me back, just buy my products. I'm not asking for any kind of a handout. I just need some work. I know it's not going to be easy right now for most of you. Anyways. And believe me, I feel for y'all that are in any kind of a service industry. Even though, yes, this coronavirus is going to open a lot of eyes for a lot of people that and change things. There are people out there that are in some kind, a lot of people, freaking millions and millions of people that are in some kind of an industry where people, they don't necessarily have to do that, to go out and eat. It's nice to go out and eat. It's nice. All of us enjoy that. All of us enjoy going to sporting events and stuff. But there are so many different things that are abused and used, and our environment is hurting. Our air quality is bad. A lot of people suffer from that. And the movements that we've made in regards to having cars that don't burn gas, electric cars, and so many different things that we need to continue to progress with are going to really be pushed whenever there's some kind of a crisis, depending on what crisis that is. But, we have a president that doesn't think that a lot of this is important. Yeah, well, somebody's going to learn otherwise, isn't he? He's going to learn the truth of the matter. The truth always rises to the surface. And that goes for everyone out there, because there's most people, a lot of people, like specifically people in Bernie's camp. A lot of people in Bernie's camp are against corporations. Well, cool. But if you're against corporations, you want to stop feeding them. We got to start thinking about where we're putting our money. And that goes for everybody, including me. And another benefit, potential benefit, and this goes for those of you that are in the service industry or in some kind of maybe you're a teacher. If you're a teacher, you're probably going to get paid while you're off. And guess what? That will enable you to do some different things, like take care of yourself, but also like potentially have your own small part-time business. A lot of people are going to start thinking about a part-time business at home. And it may be just something like selling eggs. You get yourself some chickens, 2 or 3 or 4 chickens, or maybe it's just for your own use. Extra time is an incredible thing that a whole lot of people are going to get here. A lot of people really need a break. Think about this, okay? If you're going to get a break, what can you do with a paid freaking vacation, my friends? Yes, you probably need to start thinking about something else, some other way to make money. But it's a good thing. It's wonderful to be self-employed. I've been self-employed pretty much since I was 18. Pretty much, other than I worked as a cook when I got right out of high school for a little while. I would say that 95% of the time, in my adult life, I've been self-employed, and I just can't stand to work for other people. And I really love calling my own shots, and staying organized and everything, like knowing, okay, I've got this much of that left, I've got this much of that left, I need to order more of that, I need to pay for this or do that. It's really cool, but you have to accept the responsibility of doing it. But here's the deal. You can just take on a very small part-time thing. Think of something that you've always wanted to do that you could just dabble in and get started with it. Teachers may have to work this summer to make up time. That is if things get under control. Well, maybe everybody needs to take a whole freaking year off or something. 6 months, a year. Maybe people, like I said in my article that I wrote today, maybe a whole lot of school, including college and elementary and middle school, etc., maybe a whole lot of that can be done at home. Think about how much money could be saved in a lot of different ways by schools of all kinds doing what they're doing right now, which is creating their courses online. They're going to create their courses online, and then a lot of them are going to say, hey, this is working out pretty good. And a whole lot of people at home are going to be like, hey, this is great. I don't have to drive to school. Teachers are going to be like, I don't have to drive to work. I can create my classes at home online, and I can post videos on YouTube of my class, and the students can do the work at home. And while they're at home, they can take care of their pets. They can eat better food. They can be with their parents that are also working at home. And they can grow a garden. It's unlimited. All the things that I do at home, people can do all these things that I do. It's awesome. You can go walk your dog that has to sit for 8 hours waiting for you while you're at work or at school. That poor thing. You could go walk your dog for a half hour. You could go walk with your dog and get some exercise. And you can do things on your time schedule. If you go to school, you have to be there at a specific time, and then you're done at a specific time. When you're doing things at home on your own, you're managing your time. But like I said, it's just like a business in that you have to have discipline. This is a big step for a lot of people because a lot of people don't have discipline, okay? So what we're going to find is that they're probably going to be like, well, it worked out good for some people. It worked out pretty good for some people. But other people, their grades went way down. Why is that? Well, like I said, they sat there and ate Cheetos and watched television all day instead of doing their homework. And so, anyways, let me move on here. So Scott says, okay, so now it's funny that the guy's name is Scott, a Facebook friend of mine. I gotta read you this jive talk that I did. I did some jive talk, and I'm gonna do it for you right now. Okay, it goes like this. Wipe your asses with a wet washcloth, motherfuckers. You don't need no paper. What's this world coming to anyway? Shit. So the toilet paper crisis. Well, one of my black friends on Facebook, I was looking at this post that he wrote and all of his friends, friend of mine in Chicago, and they were writing all this stuff and they had all their jive talk written down there. And so I decided, well, I can write some jive. So I wrote it in jive, and now somebody was like, yeah, but like, is that jive talk? And I'm like, okay, I'll make a video. For God's sake, I'll make a video and show you exactly what it's supposed to sound like, you know? And so, did you guys like that? Wipe your asses with a wet washcloth. so, so it's true. You don't have to have toilet paper. Toilet paper was an invention, probably of the 19th century or the 20th century, maybe the 19th century. But people used to wipe their butts with leaves and stuff. And Scott says that native tribes used to wipe them with a stick. And then he says, but you wouldn't want to stir your coffee with it. Is that good? So I told Scott that I'd share that with you. Yeah, I'm cray cray, funny as hell. Yeah, Taylor Serene, that's me. Oh, is that you, Scott? Scott Taylor? Yeah, okay. I think that's who it is. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. So should we close everything down? So should we just close everything down? Should they force like what do they call it? When everybody has to stay in? Somebody write that down. Where everybody has to stay in, like a curfew, that nobody can go out. Should we do that? Is that kind of extreme? I don't think that they're going to do that. They won't do it out here in the country. They may do it in some big cities like New York, just to prevent like a massive explosion of people catching it all at once. See, the thing is that it's not been here before, so nobody's built up an immunity against it. So this is just something that people are going to have to build up an immunity towards. And I told a friend of mine that says that she has symptoms like this today, I said, well, you're young, don't worry about it. Just take care of yourself and stay home, and get some rest. And she said she was getting bored, and I was like, well, read a book. Because see, people, including myself, like sometimes I like to read, but see, we're just forced into this speed life. We're also forced to live this life of where we just go like a bat out of hell. Especially if you're single like me, you have to do everything. You have to cook for yourself. Dog and my Airbnb all just canceled in the last 2 days. I've had 3 or 4 people booked for spring trips to come to stay in the trailer. They all canceled yesterday and today. That's more income for me out the door. And so yeah, that's what I worry about. I don't worry about catching it so much. I worry about it's just a new thing. It's a new thing that we're all having to deal with. Okay. So I don't know. I don't think that we should just close everything down. I think everybody just needs to kind of be mindful. Now, I went to the co-op 2 days ago to buy some things because I was in town buying some chicken feed. I wanted to make sure I had enough to last me for a while. I've got 18 chickens, and I've got to make sure that they get fed. And if somebody comes on or along and buys all the chicken feed, then I'm screwed. But anyways, I went to the co-op also, and I went in there, and it was lunchtime, and there was a lot of people in there. And I'm like, okay, fine. Well, I'm going to wear my mask because I don't really want to get sick right now. It's not that I'm really worried about getting sick. It's that I need to hold the fort down here. So there was quite a few people in there, so I wore a mask. I went and grabbed the things that I needed to get, which were just like some mostly fruit, apples and oranges and a few other things, and got out of there. But most of the people weren't wearing any masks at all. And whether it's really helpful or not, I don't know. But I took the precautions that I needed to, and I'm sure I'm fine. But especially with me being up here. And also think of it in terms of exposure. If you're somebody that works at the grocery store and you're a checker, you've got a high amount of exposure. If you're somebody that works in an office with 6 other people that are all mindful, you don't have a very high exposure. You can all pretty much, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So, if you do have, bear in mind, if you do have a job like at a grocery store and you have a high exposure and you're not a really old person, or even if you are an old person and you're relatively healthy, I wouldn't worry about this. Like I said, I was telling y'all earlier, and I don't know if most of you probably were not here, but I want to reiterate this. I was watching a video of a guy earlier that was on a cruise ship. He's in his 70s. He got the coronavirus. He tested positive for it. They put him in isolation. His worst part of the whole thing was that he got a temperature of 103 degrees for 8 hours, and then that was it. That was the worst part of it. He didn't say that it was that bad. It was not all that big of a deal. And so, and me, I've been through so many healing crises that I'm really not afraid of the coronavirus much. Really not. Okay, so um, I'm really not deeply worried about the world. In fact, that's what I mean. Like when I wrote that down, I was like, I'm not as deeply, now that the coronavirus is here, when I look at the overall scheme of things, I'm not as worried as I was about this world, because the coronavirus, in all honesty, is not like a big slam in the head. It's not like, the world is going to blow up. It's not like a nuclear war. It's not like a really, really extreme thing. It's like just a slap in the face. And it's really perfect. People need a good slap in the face. And they need a bunch of wake-up calls. Some people, if you lived on the beach in the west side the west side of Florida a couple of years ago when that hurricane hit and it just completely leveled that whole area, that was a hardcore slap for people. Some people died, but most people evacuated, but their places were completely wiped out. They probably had insurance, but in any case, humanity is really going to need to wake up. And so, and my faith, here's my faith. Sometimes my faith was telling me, because I've been doing this healing thing for so long and I get so fed up with people and them not changing, my faith was getting weakened because I felt as though that people weren't changing, they weren't getting their asses kicked hard enough, and it really was bothering me a lot. It was bugging me. And so when something kind of like this comes along and people get whacked a little bit and they get prompted, it makes me feel a lot better, because I know that, like, hey, maybe people are going to start, like, listening to me more. Maybe people will start listening to me and what I have to say, and treating me with more respect, and maybe buying some more of my products, knowing that what I'm telling you about all these things is for real. Clean air, clean food, and clean water. It's all so important. And taking care of yourself naturally. And getting away from doctors and drugs. See, there's nothing that they can do about this. You can't go and get antibiotics for the coronavirus. it won't work. There's nothing that they have. And when they do devise something, you know what it'll be? It'll be a big money-making thing. It'll just probably F you up and weaken your immune system or make you weaker against other things. Something. The only things that are legit as far as health is concerned are things that you work hard at to achieve by reading and educating and practicing and doing real things. Please give a thumbs up. Please give a thumbs up for this video if you haven't already. Right now there's 14 thumbs ups. Let's see if it goes up. Those of you that don't have a YouTube account, you should go and get a Gmail account. And incidentally, there's one. Incidentally, thanks, Jennifer. She's like the cutie pie dream girl I always wanted. You can't really tell, but I mean, maybe a little bit. Look at her picture. What a cutie, huh? Okay. Sorry if I embarrassed you, girl. Alright, so if you guys want to learn about a natural pain killer, kratom. I told you about this last Sunday. I couldn't remember the name because it's relatively new for me. Kratom. It's a leaf from a tree. It's a leaf from a tree, and they let it dry out, and then they grind it into a green powder, and it's natural, and it comes in different flavors, different varieties from trees. And I don't know if the tree is called kratom, but probably you could look that up. But I've tried it, and it numbs you. It really works. And it is not against like the FDA. You don't have to have any kind of a prescription. You can still buy it online. And it tastes kind of bitter. It's not a great tasting tea. Like I'm having some chamomile, which is good. This is chamomile ginkgo. And if you haven't heard how I talk about how ginkgo opens your brain and creates better circulation in your brain so you can think better, it really does. I'm telling you, I've noticed that if I consume ginkgo tea, and I especially like the yogi ginkgo tea because I think it has some other brain herbs in it. I'm not sure, but if you squeeze the bag, that gives you a jolt. So, anyways, the kratom, the ginkgo is good for your brain to get your circulation going, and you'll think better. I've noticed it for real. You will think better for a day or two, at least, after you drink ginkgo tea. And if you continue to drink it for several days in a row, you'll just be like pretty sharp. Whereas things that clog your body kind of slow your brain function down. And I have to really consume the ginkgo tea fairly often because I'm consuming quite a bit of peanut butter. It's kind of a chain reaction thing. If you're trying to get off of meat and you're trying to detox because you're getting off of meat, you're eating less, you're not eating any of that store chicken like organic or even crappy store chicken, and so you're eating a lot more peanut butter. And I always love peanut butter. But it's great for protein, etc. But then you're slowing down your body and you're clogging your brain somewhat. And so you offset that by consuming ginkgo tea. And it really works. You know, there are people that tout herbs as being good for this or good for that, but they really don't have that much proof of it or something. And sometimes there is proof and sometimes there's not. But I can tell you for sure that ginkgo totally works. Just like for your lungs, and bear in mind, I'm saying this again because we have a coronavirus thing, and anytime you have any kind of a respiratory problem, the herb mullein and the herbal combination from Grandma's Herbs is called respiratory relief. It's my favorite, and it looks like that. Look how good my lip's looking. It keeps peeling. Sorry, I was just keeps peeling because I'm not consuming that for which was clogging it up before. Store-bought Cornish cross Frankenstein chicken. I'm only consuming wild fish from the ocean, salmon, my fresh eggs. Occasionally I'll eat a little bit of the chicken, but I'm giving that pretty much all to chakra because I don't feel like it. I don't feel like eating it that much. And it's so lean, it's like, it's not bad tasting, but it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough, and it's not as tasty as that greasy, gunky chicken. But I'm telling you, that stuff is not healthy, y'all. It's not healthy. Even the organic chicken from the store. Okay. Don't worry about dying. Okay, so this kind of hits the rubber on the road. The old saying, where the rubber hits the road. When it comes to us thinking about death. Okay, so now we have this new virus that hits our country, and all of us are thinking in the back of our minds, like, I wonder if I'll die. I wonder if my grandma will die. I wonder if somebody I know that's old and weak will die. All of this kind of stuff. Okay, so one thing that having animals, when you live on a farm, it's one of the realities that I'm getting just a little bit of a taste of with chickens. And all of you, most of you, have had a little bit of a taste of it with your dogs and cats. And it's one of the things that I don't know that I'll ever get used to, death. But it's one of the things that we all eventually have to swallow. We all have to get a grasp on it somehow. And it's not ever going to be easy. And I'm sorry. But that's just how it is. It's one of those things in life that we have to deal with. And I don't know that there's really that much more that I can say about that. I guess that faith. Your faith is in that for which you talk to when you pray or just communicate, whatever you want to call it. And if you are aware of the miracles, if you are aware that you're receiving the information, the knowledge that you need, when something just pops into your mind, and then you're like, wow, I feel so much better. That's all I have to do to make things right or to be able to deal with my problem. How did that information just come to you? How did it do that? It was like magic, wasn't it? All you had to do was connect with your creator, that for which you consider it to be. And when you go to a 12-step meeting, Alcoholics Anonymous or Al-Anon, which is Friends and Family of Alcoholics that I went to for 4 years, then you have to, that's one of the things, that's the first thing that you admit, that you have to come to an understanding that there is a creator of sorts that created all of this. How could all of this be here without something that created it, some kind of an intentional movement to create it for some reason? And a lot of you believe that it's because we're trying to create this ultimate thing called love. And in India, they have the 7 chakras. You know, my dog is named Chakra. And they say that the middle chakra, the heart chakra, is the one that ultimately connects the other 3 above it and the 3 below it, from the earth below and the heavens above. And that the heart chakra in the middle is the ultimate chakra, and that your heart is the ultimate organ, maybe. And that's why when you get all choked up, you feel When you love something or someone and you really care about them, or you really get choked up, you're not feeling it in your head. You're not feeling the intensity of that emotion in your head. You're feeling it in your chest. There's also the thymus organ in your chest. You also have your lungs in your chest. Incidentally, the coronavirus affects your lungs. So how can that heal? If you get through it, and most of you will, it will probably heal that area, the fourth chakra, that is most identified with God and love. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing, right? It must be. And if you die, well, are you really going to die? Your body will die. It eventually has to die anyway. So some people live extraordinary lives for a very short period of time, and some people live crappy lives for a long, long time. Put that into perspective. And it might get some people, all these trials and tribulations might get some people to start doing something more ethical with their lives. Maybe it'll get them to do something different and start chasing their real dream, right? So let's do a 5-minute meditation. Let's close our eyes for a minute and just breathe in through our noses and out through our mouths and relax our bodies and calm our minds. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out through your mouth. Relax your body. Feel for tension throughout your body. Totally calm your mind. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now in your mind think, everything is going to be okay. Calm your mind. Scan through your body and feel for tension spots and completely release any tension in your hands, your feet. You can stretch a little bit if you feel any tension. Arch your back. Cat-cow a little bit while you're sitting there. Cat-cow, which means to arch your back and then do the opposite. Arch it and then flex it and extend it. Shrug your shoulders a little bit and roll your head around. No, absolutely. We're all going to get through these difficult times. We're going to take a little vacation. We're going to be very grateful for those people that are still working, like people at stores and gas stations, people in offices. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose, oxygenating the brain, and out through your mouth. Relax your body. You're so totally calm in your mind. Now slowly open your eyes and take some more deep breaths and keep your body relaxed. There's no reason to get it all worked up again or worrying in your mind about things that probably aren't be that big of a deal. It's really not. We just need to keep our heads, that's all. Remember that magical things can happen. Magical things can happen. And anybody that has any kind of real spirituality has seen the magical things happen. And more of those can happen. So that's why, this is all a test. This is all a test. Not of the emergency broadcast system. It's a test of faith. And if there weren't trials and tribulations and difficult times, then how would it be? If everything was easy, there wouldn't be a test of our stamina, right? And so courage is an important word right now. Courage is a really important word. And in all honesty, I don't think that we really need to even have, most of us. Maybe some of you are going to have some really some tough times, but bear in mind, this is a big enough problem that the government's going to help us out to a degree, hopefully. People are going to have understanding of different people's circumstances as well. Okay? So you're not just going to get kicked out in the street if you don't have the rent now, hopefully. And so stay cool, and yeah. Is the coronavirus overblown? Yes. It's overblown for a lot of different reasons. But if it is overblown, it's because people like it overblown. People love adrenaline. People love craziness. And this is like a real life movie scene. I'm going to read some of these. I haven't read any of these lately, so let's check it out. We create the magic in our minds and hearts. Yes. I think this is all a reason to slow down. The world is spinning too fast. Yes. Brett, you live on a farm. You're good. Well, thank God for the fart meister. Hey, have you watched my video like how to release gas, pent up gas? You should watch that, man. You get on your hands and knees and stick your butt in the air and massage your abdominal region, and you'll be amazed, fart meister. You will be amazed how easy it comes out. Okay. Yes, it's overblown. Just joining. Have to watch replay. Well, you can go back and watch this as many times as you want to, JME. The virus has awakened me to how much I waste. The last few days I've been in meditation mode. Thankful to have this live video to be able to feel the love. Well, thanks, Jennifer. Brad, get ready for the pandemic. Time to hide and get canned food with water. It is good to have some food saved up, but the thing is that even though it may look scary, if you go to the store, okay, you look and you say, oh my God, the shelves are getting empty. Like tonight, for instance, I noticed that not all the potatoes, but most of the potatoes were gone. But I can still get rutabagas and turnips as much organic at the regular grocery store as much as I want. So if I have to eat organic turnips and rutabagas, man, that would really push my cleansing and healing, wouldn't it? I think I have to go let the dog out. Hang on. Hello, Bubby. You go pee pee? Okay, go right out there. Sorry, I had to let the hound out. She'll go over there, and you know how when you have to really pee bad, you'll be dancing around. That's what Chucker does to let me know that she needs either food or to go outside or something. She'll make little tapping noises on the hardwood floor with her claws. She's the cutest. So, Jamie what? Oh, Jamie, is that your name? Jamie? JME? Styles? Okay. So, let's see. Learn to not overblow a situation. Learn to not overblow a situation. I'm not sure what I was thinking when I wrote that down. Sometimes I'll forget I just write a topic down, or a title down, and I forget the topic. Why the weak people cause, okay, so why the weak people cause such a problem when the trouble hits? Okay, so in our country, you see that there are a lot of people that are very obese nowadays. So that's not a good indicator. If people are really obese and if people are really, like not very healthy, that's a bad sign for potential troubles. But this is something that can really make people start to think. And hopefully they do. All these things with the environment that are affecting people and their family members. If you have a family member in the plains, Tennessee or Oklahoma or something, and a tornado wipes out their house, and tornadoes are now 80% more prevalent than they were 10 years ago. We have to, and the newscasters are telling us that, then we start to think, hey, maybe we need to change the way we do business. And we watch, so many of us are Facebook people. We like to look at Facebook. And we've built a certain relationship in our minds. We've built a relationship and a loving towards animals that we didn't have just a few years back, because we see all these different posts, and we've started to care a lot more about things that are more important than the things we used to care about. And when people can't go to a sporting event and they have to stay home and watch it, maybe they'll start to do something else. One thing that they're not doing is driving. And like I said, millions and millions of gallons of gas are not being burned. And prices will go down, that's a good thing, but if people start to stay home, there are so many things that I do around here for myself and for my dog and stuff to take care of me. And when we take care of ourselves, then we're a lot less susceptible to causing a problem at the hospital and for everyone around us. Because, see, people are gonna, how if a family member is sick, or a family member is like broke or whatever, then the other family members start to get nervous, right? We start to get worried, largely because they know that that'll affect them, because they're obligated to help that family member, most of them. And so they're like thinking, oh man, you know what you need? They'll harp on them. You need a stable job, or you need this, or you need that. But we're all, the more loving and caring we get about each other, the more we all become a big family. And then the more we all are concerned about, and we have our opinions about what's right that everyone should be doing. But bear in mind, even though there are a lot of different opinions, the real truths, always rise to the surface above the lesser truths. And even the lesser truths have a degree of truth, but the higher truths rise above them. And there are so many things that people need to change in order for society as a whole to get stronger. But if you're like me, you get to a place of where you're just kind of like, well, you know what? I'm just going to let those people die because there's nothing that I can do and they won't listen to me. When you get to a point of where there's nothing you can really do about it and you've done your best, well, guess what? That's it. That's when it's time to stop worrying and stop making an effort and allow the universe to send them to you. And you go home and take care of yourself. You do your best, and in doing your best requires you to sometimes draw a line in the sand and say, F it. I'm not going to worry about those people. Like my family back in Utah, I drew a deep ass line in the sand. And I was like, okay, that is it. Those people are going to have to learn all these things that I've been telling them for years. They're going to have to learn them on their own and not with me talking to them on the phone or anything, nothing. Because they just bring me down. And you may have to do that too. And in order to do that, you have to be really strong. Okay, so some things upset me, but in the end, they turn out not to be a big deal. Yeah, that's kind of the same theme tonight, part of it, that when so many times, I know a lot of you, I know most of you can relate to this, that you think that something is a really big deal, but then you start to see the benefits of what that thing has to offer you. And then you start to realize that, hey, it's all right. It's okay. Like, for instance, I'm not sure if I told you this or not, but last year, the electric company came by and cut down all the trees underneath the electric line on the property. And in the beginning, I was like, who the hell is that? I ran out there. I was all annoyed. And then I came back in because I realized there was nothing that I could do about it. And now I have extra garden space down there to plant more stuff. I just need to put up a chicken wire fence around an area down there where they cleared it out. So they did all the work for me. And I was worried about them spraying Roundup on the whole area. They never did. They just cut down the trees. That was it. And now I can go down there and plant a second garden. And so what I thought was a detriment turned out to be a benefit. And so it's all good. So bear in mind, that is there. I wrote this article today. If anyone wants me to send it to them, they can write to me, email me, Brett at you can just go to my website and look under my blog, and it's right at the top on my blog. I have like a whole bunch of beneficial things in regards to the outcome of the coronavirus. And all you have to do is go to brettsnaturalhealth.com, click on blog, and it's right at the top of the list. Brand new article I wrote today. And there are other articles. Oh, and thanks again for giving me so many thumbs ups, everybody. We're up to 28. Can we do some more? That would rock. Some people won't listen no matter what is scientifically proven to them. Yeah, that's true. People that caught the virus and got through it easily will make videos. Okay, so right now it's very unknown, especially to us in the United States. This is unknown territory, but we have YouTube here, and certainly, sure as sheet, there will be people that make videos that are going to catch the coronavirus and get through it with no problem. And they're going to make videos, and in 2, 3, 4 weeks, there'll be plenty of videos for y'all to watch. And I'll bet you that a whole lot of people will tell you that it wasn't really all that big of a deal. And so then you'll have you'll be able to see with your eyes and ears and listen to people, real Americans, that got the coronavirus and breezed through it. You'll you will for sure see old people. Like I saw today, one of the guys, a person that was on one of the cruise ships, got it and had no problem. He had one day where he had a temperature of 103 degrees for 8 hours, and then it went down, and he was fine. Okay? So pretty soon, people are going to be like, I can get through it. And then everything can start to gradually get back to a more normal thing. Because you see, we can't just continue to do this forever. We can't do this forever. Some businesses have to come back open. And a whole lot of people are going to start to say F it and want to go out and enjoy themselves doing something. But like I said, we're going to learn a whole lot of things about the benefits of just staying home too. And yes, some businesses will probably go down because of all of this. But, amen, preach on. Ebook bread. Okay, so toilet paper slang. Okay, I already did that. So that's it. That's all of my Sunday Night Live presentation that I have tonight, unless somebody wants to ask me some kind of a question about something. I really appreciate everybody coming on. If you can possibly afford, if you could possibly afford to buy one of my cool products, I have 9 wood rollers all ready to go on sale. And also you can get an additional 10% off any roller. I sent it out in the email today. Just by putting, if you go to the checkout stand, the checkout page on my website, you buy a roller, you go to the checkout page, and you put as a coupon code ROLLER, ROLLER, all in small letters. Then you will get an additional 10% off any roller. My pillows are on sale for $45 for a solid color. And I'm telling you, I'm not making hardly anything on these. I am not making squat on my pillows. And they are the best pillow ever. And so, if you can swing purchasing something from BrettsNaturalHealth.com at this time when business is so dead, I would be so grateful. I'll run around my house naked. I'll run outside in cold weather naked around the house 3 times. Anyways, so thanks everybody for joining me. I hope that you are well. And does anybody have any other questions? Impressions. My impressions of... Can we end with some slang? That is so funny. That is so funny because the last thing, that's what I'm talking about with the toilet paper slang. Look at that. Toilet paper slang. How did Taylor know that? It was the last thing. But I already did that. You want me to do it again? Okay. Wipe your asses with a wet washcloth, motherfuckers. You don't need no paper. What this world coming to anyway? Shit. I must have read your mind. Yeah, I don't know. How did you do that, Taylor? So I wish everybody a really good week. And thanks for your support. I really appreciate y'all. And don't stress out too much because it's like a storm. This is like a storm. Right now, it's raining like a mofo outside. It's gonna rain 10 inches, but you can hang in there, and all will be well. All will be well. There are gonna be people that are freaking out, Don't do it because you know that this storm will pass. Thanks everybody for joining me. Just be safe. Just, don't stick your fingers in your mouth and stuff, and don't go to places where there are a lot of people. But if you do and you get the coronavirus, know that you're almost certainly not going to die, and you'll get through it, and then you'll build an immunity. You'll build an immunity, and everyone's going to have to get this. Everyone's over the next year, 2, 5 years, or whatever. We're all going to build an immunity because we're all going to catch it. So, thanks for joining me. Peace and love. Bye, Taylor and Melissa and everybody. Bye, Joe.